How many of you have heard of John Bonham? No? All right, good. So you have a lot to learn. Today I'm going to talk to you about him. According to AllMusic.com, John was one of the most important and influential drummers of the 1960s and the 70s. Not only was he an influence to countless others, but he was one of the biggest influences on myself as well. Today I'm going to talk about his childhood, his most famous bands, and his death. Even from the start, John had an uneventful life. According to johnbonham.co.uk, his labor lasted over 26 hours, or shortly after his heart stopped beating. The doctor had already left the room, and the nurse had to call in a different doctor who was able to revive him. And the nurse later stated that he was very lucky to be alive. He was born in Westonshire, England on May 31st, 1948. Started self-teaching himself drums at the age of 5, with putting coffee containers, pans, pots, anything around the kitchen, hitting up knives and forks. He went to a private school around age 11, and he switched to a secondary school, where there he had a teacher who had stated that he would either end up being a dustman or be a millionaire. John's most famous band had to be Led Zeppelin. This band came together by the lead singer, Jimmy Page, or lead guitarist, Jimmy Page, and their manager, Pete Grant. Their goal was to put together a new band after Jimmy left his previous band to aim for a major record deal. According to Legacy.com, after the band was formed, they played the first live gig at the Mayfield Ballroom on October 4th, 1968. Little after, their managers secured one of the few decent record deals in rock and roll history. They were able to get a $200,000 cash advance, and they got paid for every time they showed up to a concert and repeated themselves. Shortly after they received the record deal, they recorded their first album. It only took them 30 hours to record, which is usually short. It usually takes over weeks to months to record it. And that first album actually made the top of the charts. And their second album, they recorded 8 months later, was even better than the first. The day before Led Zeppelin was at rehearsal for their upcoming tour in America, John Bonham was having a mad drinking rage and drank vodka starting at noon to midnight. After that, he passed out and was found on his couch the next morning dead by his lead guitar player and his bassist. Later, he had to break it to everyone, and the police came to show up, and they found there was nothing wrong, that he just died in his sleep. According to johnbonham.co.uk, he consumed 40 ounces or units of vodka. The recommended maximum intake of alcohol per day for men in the UK was 3 to 4 units. Cause of death was determined to be dying from the inhaling of his own vomit during his sleep. He was put to rest by his family on the 10th of October in 1980 at the young age of 32. In conclusion, he lived a short but inspiring life. Today I talked about his childhood, his most famous band, and I talked about his death. I hope you have a better understanding about who John Bonham was and when he lived.